Warning! This podcast contains meatballs.
Good evening, and welcome back to Big Brother, and welcome everyone to the As Seen on TV podcast for BB19. I am your host, Big Brother historian and superfan Luke Labagnera, coming to you live from East Haven, Connecticut. With me, my two fellow co-hosts, Big Brother superfans and historians, coming to you live from East Haven, Connecticut, Dom Greco.
Hello.
Coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, Jacob Salazar.
This season sucks.
And as always, that's a perfect intro, Jacob.
Look what y'all made me do.
I mean to do that. Oh, come on, honey. There's no need to do that just because it was a sucky season with a sucky cast, and I haven't seen this much controversy since season 15, like I told you guys.
I mean, but season 15 was entertaining.
It was entertaining, but a little racist, if you ask me, coming from Aaron Grice. But
I hear Aaron and Amanda are actually really good friends now.
Oh,
They
God.
are. You know what? When you're out of the pressure cooker and you're outside of the Big Brother house, Julie Chen made a good point. On an interview, she said, when they get out of the Big Brother house, they are going to be friends, believe it or not. Because when you're under a pressure cooker like that in the game, you are going to hate each other and you are going to be enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Look at take Reagan and Rachel when they were on season 12 together. They hated each other. Rachel didn't get along with anybody in that house that season except Brendan. But now she's good friends with Reagan. He was in her wedding party when she got married. I mean, do you remember season 12? Does anybody recall that?
I remember season 12.
Yeah.
Like, because Rachel was on it.
Yeah, I mean, look at Rachel. I mean, her and Reagan were at each other's throats, especially when Pandora's box was open and Brendan got that trip, that world round trip, whatever that was, and she came back into the house as punishment for 24 hours. But getting into this week, we learned that Christmas was awarded and crowned the next head of household, and that was one of the main competitions that she was able to play in a long time because, obviously, she's limited to competitions because of her condition in her foot, thanks to Jason. But, as we know, her plan this week was to target Mark and get him out of the house. So, as always, like everybody else has done this season so far, she nominated two pawns this week. She nominated Jason and Matt for eviction, knowing clearly that her main target was Mark. Mark tried to campaign, and he felt defeated at that point, but he said, I'm not giving up. I'll give it one last chance. And I believe at one point he was in the HOH room with Christmas and Josh, and they kind of told him what he wanted to hear. But really, she's like, his pleas and his replies are all, and we are not saying that word, and I can't believe Christmas said that season. Dom, I see that look in your face. Don't get any ideas what she said in the diary room. But she basically said his pleas and everything were shit to her because he's basically aligned himself with the wrong people and basically just put himself in a bad spot. He was aligned with Jody and he was in a showmance with Elena and he tried his best to distance himself, but too late. Actually, she tried to distance himself. So then this week, several days later, after nominations, zing! Bot returns to the Big Brother house to make his usual roast amongst the house guests, and I have to say, his best zing was to Christmas. Whose zing did you like best?
Yeah, it was 100% Christmas.
They all kind of sucked, though, this year.
Up till Christmas, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but, I'm like, come on, Zingbot. I don't know who your writers are, because, guys, it's a dude in a suit. I don't know, I think after watching this season and, seeing these people's ugly faces and their dull personalities, I just wanted, a good, just really fucking some filthy, nasty ones, but we didn't.
I mean, he was honestly brutal to Mr. Meatball.
Well, Mr. Meatball, you don't have to worry, about your weight. It's fine, dude, okay? Because you know what? Once you leave on the plane, to go home, you'll be sitting next to everybody.
Exactly, and Poppy's got a nice body for a meatball head. He's not overweight. I don't know what they were seeing. Josh has pretty much a nice body, the olive
Yeah.
skin, and
I don't know. Hey, Josh Pillsbury called. They want their back rolls back.
No.
Jacob.
I'm surprised Jake didn't come in a cardboard Zingbot costume.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
My God, that would have been
No,
so-
because Jake is one to I mean, if I'm going to zing somebody, I want it to be me. So like you can see, the fierceness in my eyes when I tell it to you because like I fucking mean it. Because here's the thing about zings, is that they need to have an ounce of truth to them. Because you could say things like oh, you suck, like that's not clever, that's not funny, and that's just being that's just being a bitch. When you craft it in such a way, where like for example, we'll say to Kevin, like, your hairline and your dad have a lot in common. They both run out on you. That's the thing.
That was a good thing.
Ouch.
And what has Matt done all season? What has he done? He's done Raven all season up until now.
That
Well,
was
Raven,
that was
the hardest
very
thing-
true.
Yeah, the hardest thing you had to overcome this season was that salt and peppered hunk of meat standing right next to you. What's your name, sweetheart?
It was Raven. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and what does he do? He's a cereal addict. That kid could eat bowls of cereal and look at his body.
He's a
Kid
serial
works
killer.
out. He is a serial killer. Yeah, I mean, my God, that kid. But you know something? We're gonna get into it in the live feeds. Well, because I don't know if you guys watch the live feeds. Jacob, do you?
Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore. Well, I do watch the live feeds, and by the way, Dom is holding up a special edition meatball tonight in honor of Meatball Head. So, just like I did last year when Paulie had to make the apple pies for the punishment, I had a full apple pie last season, and I was eating that. Well, I know, Jacob, you didn't. You weren't with us last season, but I ate a whole apple pie during the whole podcast, and luckily I didn't get sick, which is, like, amazing. I must have a stomach of steel, but not to jinx myself. But on the live feeds, though, I don't know if this is realistic or true or not, or I don't know if the rumors are true, but Matt is supposed to be a have-not this week along with Kevin, and I think he's breaking the rules of being a have-not. He's refusing to eat slop, he's not sleeping in the have-not room, and he's just continuing to eat cereal. I mean, it makes no sense, but after Zingbot...
I forget that they even have-nots anymore because they put no focus on it at all anymore.
Well, they never really did.
They used to at least let you know, like, who it was. It would be worked into, like, a competition, and it would be like, whoever comes in last for the last 4 spots, are this week's have-nots. And occasionally they would do a have-not competition where, they don't do any of that anymore. I forget that have-nots are even on the show.
Well, I don't know why they have to exist anymore because, they're not really relevant. They don't really affect anybody in the competition, really. But you know what? What they could do with the have-nots is something really interesting. I think they did this in Big Brother Canada, where they had 2 house guests be nominated by the audience who they would like to be have-nots. But in that week in the have-not room, there was a secret compartment that says, okay, you've been voted by the viewers to be have-nots because they want you to solve this like puzzle so you can get an advantage. So when they do things like that, it's interesting. But you don't have to be a have-not to do that. But like if you're going to like incorporate have-nots and people are gonna be like, oh, like we're have-nots, so it sucks. But then you surprise them with this twist, then it's more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we saw with the have-nots week 1, we saw Paul was part of it with the Jillian, Josh, Megan, and Ramses, and then Paul used the key. For the temptation inside the thing and took himself out of it.
Right.
We've never seen that again, and apparently, Jason tried for it, failed. Josh tried for it, failed. Mark tried for it, failed. Elena tried for it, failed. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot. So 4 weeks in a row, they all failed. And then Mark did it in week 7 and he won and took himself out of it. But we don't know any of that because they don't show it on TV. You know, like, sure, if you're watching the live feeds and stuff, you keep track of all that. But at home, we don't know any of that anymore. They stopped telling us.
Right. Then after Zingbot, just so we don't get sidetracked, because I want to throw this into the mix here. Now that Zingbot has returned, as we all know, he is now president of Zing. What was the planet Zing? What was that called?
Some unclever name that the debut writers came up with.
Right. But as we all know, he was not only back to zing roast amongst the house guests, it was time for the veto competition, and it was the famous slip and slide lane competition where they had to help Zingbot get back to the planet.
I was shocked that this was a veto competition. Usually this is a head of household competition.
Yeah, it's an HOH, but this time they kind of switched it around. It was an HOH competition now, just like the bowling one. The bowling one was a temptation competition. They changed that around and added that into the mix. Now this one was a veto, but like always, I think this competition was to fill his spaceship up, and they had to help him get the oil back or something like that, the transmission fluid across the lanes. Now, they had a choice. They could continue with the small scoop going down the slippery lane and filling up their tank to get the ball out to win the power of veto, or better yet, they could go to the second little tank or aquarium, whatever that thing is called, and they could actually fill that up and use the bigger scoop for only like maybe 5 times, I believe it was, just to get them farther ahead in the game and get them more into the lead. But as we all know, after many slips and slides and the meatballs are falling on their heads, as Josh likes to put it, congratulations, Jason. You have won the power of veto.
Yay.
Right. So as we all know, even it's I don't even know why they have to have a veto ceremony for this or a veto meeting, because it's obvious if you're on the block and you're nominated for eviction and you happen to win the power of veto, it's obvious you're going to save yourself unless
unless you're Marcel.
Yeah, exactly. So, during the veto meeting, as we all know, Jason has decided, unsurprisingly, to use the power of veto on himself. So, Christmas, now that Jason has vetoed one of your nominations, you must now stand and name a replacement nominee. With Paul's plan going into play and her in Paul's ear, or Paul in her ear, whatever you want to put it, Mark, please take a seat. You are the replacement nominee. So, it came down to the live vote and eviction. So, house guests, Big Brother historians, and super fans on our podcast, just a reminder, when Julie reveals the vote, the evicted house guest will only have just a few moments to say goodbye, gather his belongings, and walk out the front door. By a vote of 4-2, Mark, you are evicted from the Big Brother house and are now the 3rd member of jury. Choices. And why is it a choice, Jacob?
These house guests are fucking stupid.
Do you think they're playing a stupid game, and you think they're just kind of giving Paul what he wants?
Playing a game those are strong words.
It's an understatement.
No, like if Alex and Jason were smart, they would try to get out Matt and Raven, and if Matt and Raven were smart, they would try to get out Alex and Jason, and if all of the other house guests in the house were smart, they would get out Paul. They're not going to do that.
Well, Paul wasn't in their ear telling them, "Oh, get Matt and Raven out," until after Mark was eliminated. So at that point, Jason and Alex were supposed to put one vote to Mark, or one vote to Matt, to make it look like it was Kevin. They were trying to do a frame job on Kevin. Except right. Alex slipped up and also voted, so there were 2 votes.
Right, and that made Matt and Raven suspicious because, wait a minute, who was the second vote that voted to evict me? You could see how suspicious Matt is. Excuse me.
And it's the other couple.
Yeah, but exactly. I don't know why they were even... There was a whole thing of them going back and forth in the house where they were, like, questioning Kevin. Kevin must have been one of the votes. I'm like, really? There's 2 votes. Like, you think Kevin was one of them?
Right, and
Well,
Alex,
I mean, I don't put it past them to think that it was Kevin, because literally, whoever gets into Kevin's ear at the last minute, he's gonna follow them.
right, and as you could tell, for the first time in Big Brother history, not that I'm aware, Alex slipped and meant to vote for Mark, but instead she voted for Matt, and that was a slip over her head. She basically had a slip of the tongue and had a brain fart in that moment
Yeah.
during her casting the vote to evict.
Yep.
I mean, this was a pretty controversial week, and it's about to get even more on the edge of your seat excitement because,
Well, excitement again, strong choice of words.
well, let's just say more drama, if that's the better word for it.
But I don't even know if that's the better word for it.
This cast just makes your mind go blank this season.
A thing happened.
Right. But as we all know, going into the next HOH competition, everybody, and I'm sure Jacob would agree, not only with the name of the competition, but everyone is a wiener. So it was another endurance.
Yes, they are.
They are, and and they all looked like big wieners in those wiener buns, and that it was another endurance competition where they have to stand in their wiener bun, and the last one standing in their wiener bun is the next HOH. But here's where the controversy and not the confusion, but the controversy and the drama gets in hand here, because you know that Alex is Jason's ride or die, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously they just kept arguing, and he's like, no, I want this HOH. He goes, I don't want anything from you. No, you're going to fall. I'm going to get this next HOH. I want you to fall. She's like, Jason, what do you want? She goes, I want you to fall so I could win this competition. And everybody's like, wait, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here?
I mean, they were clearly they're competitive, and they were having a little side competition. I don't see what the big deal was.
Neither do I. Matt and Raven were like getting like uncomfortable, and they're like getting suspicious. And I think Josh was like talking on the side or something like that. And everybody's getting suspicious. Like, hello, this is Big Brother. Come on, it's time to play the game. You haven't even Matt, you haven't played the game all season, and finally you have a voice. I love the guy, but finally he has a voice after all this time.
I wouldn't call it a voice.
You wouldn't call well, like, what do you think of Matt going into gameplay now? Do you think he's too late, or do you think he's actually just in time? He laid low all season.
I mean, it's never too late to start playing the game, but it is too late to start racking up your resume. If you get to the end. If Matt's in the end, the only person he can win against is Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's going to vote for Raven. Everyone's over Raven at this point. So that's his only chance, really, unless like somebody fucks up like big time, and then he does, something amazing. I don't know how he's going to do that, though. Unless he gets Paul out, and then he can say that he did that. But again, he's not going to do that. So like everybody in this cast, the problem is, and this happens a lot on this show, and it happens a lot on Survivor. Survivor less so, but like just because like that show is more aggressive. But on these shows, there's one person who's running the entire show, and that person either goes really far or they go like really early. And this is one of the cases, and it's usually the bad case where they end up going far, and you can tell, okay, yeah, they're going to win. And you have all these other people who are not that person, who all think they're so close to the one person, and they all think, okay, so like I'm their right guy, and they're going to take me to the end, and like everybody else is expendable. What they don't realize is that you're the expendable one, and once you're gone, you're all shocked and like confused, and you realize that you were just a number, because everyone else is just a number, and it doesn't really matter until like final 5 or 4, where that person actually chooses who they're going to be taking.
Now, is Survivor in a way kind of related to Big Brother? Are there targets? Is it a social experiment? Like,
it's a social experiment. Survivor is older than Big Brother, so like how it so like it's the same premise of like people secluded somewhere, and we have to like get rid of our own. But in Survivor, there are other ways. There are more ways to be a target in Survivor than in Big Brother, because with the added twist of they're on an island, and like they're and they have to survive out there by themselves. So you have that factor. People are cranky. People, they smell, and like they don't have toilet paper, so like there's extra stress added. And so And they have things like, food competitions.
Wait,
and they
there's
have
extra
things like-
stress added because there's no toilet paper?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So they can't wipe their own ass, basically. Not to
No.
get too graphic.
No,
They have to
you
use
dig a hole. Dig a
Poison ivy
hole.
leaves.
Yeah, poison, or palm fronds. But in Survivor, they do these. They do competitions like this, but they also have reward competitions, which I would like to see Big Brother do. Reward competitions where and the reward competitions are either separate or they're attached to the immunity competitions.
Yeah.
So on the reward, usually one person wins. Or at the first half of the season, they have teams. Like the team wins the reward. But when it's individual, one person wins the reward competition, and they usually have that person pick 2 or 3 people to go with them on the reward. And that creates tension when certain people don't get picked or when certain people do get picked.
Right.
So you can paint a target on yourself for picking the wrong people, or you create, single out other people and you don't take them on the reward because they're your target. So I would like to see some of that incorporated on Big Brother, just to make things more interesting, because I'm going to be honest, Big Brother has been losing me. It's been losing me because I'm fucking bored. These people, they themselves aren't making it interesting. So Big Brother, they've done this thing where they try to do twists, but these twists aren't working because they're tailored specifically to certain people.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the whole temptation theme this season. I thought this season's been the most interesting in terms of what Big Brother is doing
Right.
to set things up than ever. But yeah, I think the cast is a little lackluster this season.
Right, but I guarantee you guys next season, because next season we're out of the teens now. Our very first season next year starts the big BB20.
Yes,
Season
and
8.
I want a Big Brother heroes versus villains season. They did this on Survivor, and it's regarded as the best season of Survivor.
Right.
So
I'll
if
tell
Big
you what
Brother
they-
did something like that, I'm back on board.
Yeah, you know something though, Jacob? I also want to see first evictees go into the house as a team, because it's not fair that they didn't have a chance. Here's who I want to see come back, who were the first evicted. Keith from season 13, Jody from season 14, who Dan evicted on premiere night, and Cameron. I'd love to see them back in the game. I don't know why. Or David from season 15, who, by the way, was a really hot lifeguard. I really would love to see some of that eye candy in the house this season.
Oh, really? I thought it
You
was
didn't like David? What, the lifeguard from San Diego? I thought he was pretty hot.
Ew.
You don't like guys with muscles? Come on, bro.
Oh.
Actually, I don't know. We all have our tastes. But
I like meatballs.
I love meatballs too. Especially during the Great Depression, they had great meatballs too back then. My mother's meatballs are by far.
Oh yeah, because you were there in the Great Depression.
Oh. Pardon me. I know I shouldn't really be doing this while we are live here, but. Oh yeah, I'm just being funny. You know I love you more than my luggage. But
Happy 90th birthday, Luke.
Oh. Thank you. And happy
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a couple of zings on Luke right now because you're just making it too easy.
Oh no.
I told Luke so the other day I told Luke to act his age and he died. Luke is so old that his social security number is 2.
Well, that has no effect on me. You could roast me all night if you want to.
The last time that Luke heard that joke, he fell off his dinosaur.
And the last time Dom heard a joke, he was out of diapers.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, Actually, Dom and I
Yesterday.
are the oldest ones on here. We have a 20-year-old, a 31-year-old, and a 33-year-old. So Dom is the oldest out of all of us, practically. We have the oldest, the middle, and the baby. With a baby face still.
Yeah, I saw a baby fat. Well, I call it baby fat. It's probably just fat. And that's how you roast yourself.
Oh, yeah, of course. Hey, you know something? That's what happens when you live a long and full life. I mean, but going into the next HOH competition, and after all that tension and then fighting back and forth on who should drop first, congratulations, Jason. You are the new head of household. So, Jason once
I
again
think he should have gave it to Alex.
Why?
Because he already had it in HOH. Like if
Yeah,
they're
but
partners.
It was double eviction, though.
Doesn't matter. He's gonna get to share the room with her anyway because they're each other's ride or die. So he's gonna get just as much access to the room as she is. Like, he already got a letter last week. You know, we forgot to mention during the double eviction, he did get the letter from his family.
That he's gonna be a daddy again.
Yeah.
Yep. And he found out when he was wearing that Extrematard outfit, and oh my god, his reaction to the pregnancy news was priceless. It said, Gatlin is rooting for you to win Big Brother because he's going to be Big Brother, and Mommy's, oh god, he just broke down. And then Paul's like, he's having a baby, and everybody was like, yes, he's so loud, Jason.
And if he was smart, he would use that in his ending speech if he gets there.
If he got further.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened on Survivor, where the person who won that particular season, well, actually, in Survivor, they do this thing, and they should do this on Big Brother too, where they have, at a certain point, at like final 7 or 6, they have the family visit.
Oh,
so like one person from your family just gets to visit the contestants on Survivor. And that season, the wife of the man who won came to him, and then she said, we're having a boy. And he didn't tell the rest of the contestants. When he got to the end, he revealed to them that my wife is having a baby. I think Jason should have done that. If he could have like planned something out, like if he has like a set plan to make himself to the end and execute it well, I think it would have been really beneficial for him to then reveal at the very, very, very end, you know, tell this whole story about like how you came to this game, expectations were blah, 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 blah. I ended up doing blah, 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 blah. The changing moment in my game was when I got a letter from my wife and she says, we're having another kid.
Yeah.
That would have been the right move. That makes sense.
Then he would have got more votes, sympathy votes, and, you know, congratulatory votes, etc., etc. Yeah, but I don't know. I think he should have gave it to Alex, because Alex hasn't gotten a letter from her family, you know, anything like that. He at least got a letter. He didn't get the room, but like, who cares? He got the basket of food and the letter and all that. He should be nice enough to give Alex the same treatment.
Right. But now with Mark gone, you know the house guests are going to have to start turning on each other because they already got out the main potential targets. So now they have to start turning on each other. So
there's only like 6 of them left. Who else are they going to turn on? The door?
Exactly. No, you got a good point, Jacob. But getting into that, with that being said, hey everyone, it's time for the nomination ceremony. Jason, one of your duties as current head of household is to nominate 2 house guests for eviction. In your block are 2 keys of the 2 house guests that you are nominating for eviction. You will turn each key to reveal your votes and lock in your votes, and their faces will appear on the memory wall. And with that procedure being said and done, he has nominated Matt and Raven for eviction, because now it's time to make some big moves in this game, and that's where we left off. Because we're not going to get into the veto until next week, because we haven't seen the veto yet, or how it's played out.
Right.
Is there anything else we have to say,
we didn't see the veto?
No, not this veto.
Not on Sunday.
Not the episode.
Gotcha,
we have to wait until the episode first, because we don't know exactly what kind of competition it's going to be, even though maybe some of us do know the spoilers.
Right.
But do you guys want to add anything else, or did we cover everything we needed?
Yeah, no, that seems about it. We're getting down to the wire here, though. Like, this is usually when the show for me starts slowing down, right? Because it's kind of exciting right now because at any moment, one of them could decide to get Paul out. That's the exciting part. Is if somebody gets that in their head, they could literally do it, and there's nothing Paul can do at this point.
Why is it bullshit, Jacob?
I just don't see it. I don't see anybody doing anything in this motherfucking game.
Yeah.
You really don't think they're going to get Paul out or target him anytime soon?
I think they're going to target him, but it's too late at this point.
Well, actually, it's not. They could still get him to jury.
Well, no, it's not too late. But
Alex isn't going to put Paul up. Christmas isn't going to put Paul up, and Josh isn't going to put Paul up. So it's got to be Matt or
Well,
Raven.
eventually,
Or,
The only
or
way Paul
Kevin.
gets out of this game is if Matt and Raven survive this week and they take each other to the end.
right. And if they do take each other to the end, if we were to see Matt and Raven in the final two, if you were a juror, who would you vote for? And not out of sympathy, but out of strategy.
I will take the bullet.
Take the bullet.
I'll,
Like,
I'll
in other
vote.
words-
I'll vote for the person wearing the clownatard.
Okay, so you would vote for Raven to win the game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see another female win this season. I mean, everybody, I know you weren't happy last season when Nicole won Big Brother. I mean, I remember the final podcast. You were so mad. You're like, I'm disappointed. I think it was unfair.
Well, I like it when a woman wins the season,
Yeah.
but when it's one who like deserves it. Like I didn't want fucking Nicole to win. I didn't want fucking like who else won. Like if we think about like the past seasons, and there are so many people who said like, oh, so and so should have won that season because they're female and we want more female winners. So by that, Gina Marie wins season 15.
Right, but it was Andy. Andy won, and he was the first openly gay house guest to win Big Brother.
And also by what those other people are saying, that means whatever twin that was win season 17.
Yeah, Liz. Julian, her twin sister, naturally voted for her, and so did Austin.
Well, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, obviously. But throwing
Those two
that...
they did not last.
No, they didn't last. Oh, you mean Liz 10. I wonder if Clelly are still together,
and I really don't fucking care about those two.
Yeah, I mean, they really had a big-time showmance. And now everybody is contemplating in the news feeds on the Big Brother news if you go to Google or if you go to Yahoo, everybody's asking, are Big Brother 19 couple, Jody and Cody, going to get married? Knowing them, they would probably tie the knot in their sick mind.
Y'all need to... No, you need to wait. Cody, you need to wait. Go on a couple of dates. You need to move in with... You need to move in with
I don't think
Jess.
I don't think
See how-
Cody's the one that needs to wait. I think Jess is the one that needs to wait.
No, Jess can wait. She can wait. She'll
Wait,
put Cody in his place. If he asks her at the finale, she's gonna put him right in his place and say, nope.
That's my point. Jess is the one that needs to wait.
Right, because do you think she's the one being too clingy, or do you think Cody's diving in along with her?
She doesn't know what Cody is outside of the house.
He knows
Cody
he's a boss.
Cody doesn't know her either. They don't know each other, but to be honest, the one that I would have to worry about most out of the house is Cody.
Right. I mean, I worry about him too. I mean, Will Heiser from Big Brother 14, if you watch some of his podcasts on his YouTube channel, he does the Big Brother sagas where he acts out the characters, and I think he does a really good job.
It's more entertaining than the fucking show itself.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I was kind of jealous of Will because I thought he was kind of good looking and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh God, I'm so jealous of him. It's like crazy, but something, I like Will Heiser. I think he's funny, and like it
He's
says
a great character actor. Get him on Horizon anyway.
Absolutely, and I can't
Cast
believe
him in a Jim Carrey movie.
Absolutely, and I can't believe his profession. When he was first in the Big Brother house, his profession was a marketing consultant. I'm like, this kid should be a fucking entertainer. I mean, he's got the skill and the ability to loop.
Yep.
So,
I can see him on Broadway.
so could I. With that being said, I'm going to throw
Bring
this
him
in.
back. Bring Will back.
I hope they bring him back as a veteran, but
Will,
I'm going to...
with one L, just one. Ain't nobody got 2 L's.
Okay, oh yeah. Ain't nobody got time for 2 L's, like he says on his intro in his YouTube videos. But with that being said, get 24/7 live video from inside the Big Brother house with the Big Brother live feeds. Go to cbs.com/VB19 to try it for free. Dom, where can the people find you?
Find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
Hey, Jacob, where can the people find you?
Go watch my suicide video and all of my giggles and gore and
Oh.
monsters and mayhem here on YouTube at Jacob Salazar, or you can find me on Twitter, tweeting me throughout the life at TwoNowhereland. That is TONOWHERELAND. Join the Nowhereland Society.
You can find me down below on Twitter at Zupa23. That is ZUPA23. Dom, take it away.
You can find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASO TV Podcast for some more podcasts or some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies.
From outside the Big Brother house, I am Luke Labagnera. This is Dom Greco and Jacob Salazar. We'll see you next week.